Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Hoop Love Y'all show. I am your host, Shay Rippinger of Hip the Hoopla, and I talk about health, humor, and hooping. This is number two of a six-part series, which is love and loss, and this is from grief to peace. So this is meant to help some people besides myself who may be going through some loss or things that are weighing heavy on you. As I mentioned in the first episode, things that could be something as drastic as loss of a partner, spouse, child, or something like the loss of a pet, a beloved pet, somebody missing or incarcerated, uh, loss of a job, a severe illness, things like that that can really help, really disrupt our lives. So thank you so much, Crystal Rays of Light. So thank you for watching live, and this will be also offered on a recording as well. I have two cameras going, so it's going to be it's broadcast live now on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I will have that posted soon. So and I do three segments in this: health, humor, and hooping. So with my health. I wanted to give a little bit of background to why I'm doing this series, and again to help get through this time of year, through the holidays, and it could be you could be watching this at any time and experiencing this. So hopefully this will help through that. For me, what sparked this was the loss of my cat, my beloved cat of 19 and a half years, and I just lost her last week. And also it brought up the other major losses in my life this year, and in our family's lives, and that was the loss of both my grandmother and my grandfather, who died a week apart. And it's the theme of this particular show is loss. So there's a lot to this, when you're missing somebody or something, of this significance in your life. And I just wanted to show you real quick. This was my grandmother and my grandfather. So let's see, that's my grandmother and my grandfather. And yes, they were 97 years old. I used to joke around with my grandmother that she was a cradle robber because she was almost a year, not quite a year older. Well, depending on what time of year. It's kind of like me and my husband. Sometimes we're the same age, and sometimes one of us is a year older. But I used to joke around that my grandmother was a cradle robber because my grandfather was younger. So again, a little dose of humor there. And I realized one of my cameras here is off. So, okay, let's try that. Okay. Sorry for the adjustment on this. I'll try and move in on this a little bit too. So, and just a little bit of background on my grandparents. They're wonderful, lovely people. They were married, I hope I got this year right, 73 years. Just mind-blowing. And they died a week apart because they were so attached. And I mean, 73 years together, if you can only imagine. I mean, most people can't even imagine even living that long, let alone 97 years and being married to one person. Most people aren't married to just one person. So anyway, there's a lot about that. Anyway, so I'm trying to help with the good positive things here. So I wanted to say, I've forgotten to mention this in my first episode, so I'm going to give you 3 health tips on this. And one is gentle exercise and movement is going to help with the loss. And one of the reasons is because we can get in a very depressive state. Now, the first segment show that I did on this series was grief, and how you can feel grief, and it's good to feel grief. It's good to cry it out and cry and move through it, because if you avoid that, it can pierce through in very weird and odd ways. And I explained why in that episode, but if you want to go back and watch that one. But on this one, this is helping you move through this process from grief to peace. So we're going to be moving through steps. This is a little bit different than Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's five stages of grief. Hers are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And mine are, this is, like I said, this is just different. Mine are grief, loss, mourning, reflecting, healing, and peace. So, and moving through each of these stages and touching through these. And of course, there's a lot more to it, and everybody's individual as to how you get through this. But when you do need to get through this, this stuff might help. So a little bit of gentle exercise. I like hooping. I like dancing. You can do whatever you would like that is going to help you move. And also I'm going to, the next part of this, we're going to do a little laughter yoga exercise, and we'll move. So I encourage you to do that with me in just a moment. Okay, so gentle exercise, movement. That's the first health tip. Second one is 5-HTP. It's an herbal remedy that is really wonderful. It stands for, the 5-HTP stands for 5-hydroxytryptophan. And it helps with, I call it my happy pill. And so when you're going through things of depression, it helps just even things out so you're not dipping down so low. It also helps with sleep, and it helps with several other things as well. So okay, wave to one person right there. And also, if you're live, comment live and let me know where you're watching from, what you're going through, if you're going through something, and let's help each other out, and what your things are that help you get through these. So type those in the comments, and that would be lovely. Okay, and my third thing of my health recommendation, real quick here, is St. Johnswort. That is an herbal remedy as well, and that is, and it's a plant remedy. The 5-HTP, I'm not sure if that's a plant, if that can be considered an herbal remedy, but it's a natural remedy. So St. Johnswort is one that has been used for depression for a long time. In Germany, they prescribe, back in the day when we had a health food store, that I remember reading a study about that Germany, the German doctors prescribed or recommended St. Johnswort like more than Prozac. So, because it has less side effects, it's almost no side effects. You want to watch your sun exposure with St. Johnswort. I do remember that part. And then when my mom went through cancer, they said, you shouldn't take St. Johnswort because it messes with the free radicals. So that was a doctor's recommendation. Definitely, always do your own research on things. But St. Johnswort is a very helpful antidepressant herbal help assistant remedy, if you will. Okay, so herbal moon goddess. Hi, very good, very good. Thank you so much for watching, guys, live. Okay, so I'm going to do we're talking about love and loss. From grief to peace. I'm going to give you, and I try and do it with this is a little bit more of a serious series, but I still want to be me and bring a little bit of humor to this. So even though things aren't easy, I recommend that you laugh whenever you can. So even though you're experiencing a loss, if you are experiencing a loss or I'm sure you're going to experience it at some point, things to think about, getting a little bit of laughter in. Now, laughter yoga is about breathing, and it's like a little bit of a fake it till you make it laugh. And yesterday we just did a breath work. The last show we just did a breath work. So where we're just smiling. So when you're going through grief and loss, sometimes you don't feel like laughing, you don't feel like smiling, but I highly encourage you to try it anyway, even if it's fake, because what it does is the brain, it switches the brain chemistry and the body chemistry and puts some extra endorphins in. And the more you can, balance your going through your loss, your grief, with a little bit of the emotions and try and balance those out. So, you're not so heavy with the grief, the loss, the mourning, and, time and passage will help, move that along. You might not feel, you know, like jumping for joy right away, and there will be days that are better and days that are worse. I have an interesting quote that is, little by little we let go of loss, but never of love, which is a beautiful quotation. Little by little we let go of loss, but never of love. It's really pretty. Anyway, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of, I call this a sway wave. So I encourage you to do this with me, and we're going to look like one of those used car things. And so what you were going to do is we could put our hands in the air. I'm going to move back so I have my other camera a little bit more here. And you can do this seated, or you can do this standing. So you're just going to reach your hands in the air, and this is to help bring everything up. So, you know, there's lots of time when you're in grief and loss that, you know, everything is down here. So we want to take a nice deep breath, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest up, and then raise the arms up, and we're just going to sway it back and forth. We're going to inhale it into one side, and then exhale it out to the other side. Inhale it in, and see if you can smile during this, and exhale it out. Inhale it in, lift up when you inhale it, and then exhale it out, and take it over. Inhale it in, and then exhale it out, take it over. And one last time, inhale it in, and exhale it out, take it over. If you want, try this with me. Step that up a little bit of a level, up, and then we're going to try and do a little bit of a fake laughter with it. So hopefully me laughing will help encourage you to get at least a smile or crack a grin, so that you can try this and move along. So we're going to take it in, inhale it in, laugh it out in the other direction. Inhale it in, laugh it out. Inhale it in one more time, and laugh it out. And then at the end of laughter yoga exercises, we take our hands together and we go, very good, yay. We do that twice, very good, yay. So thanks for doing that with me. And I encourage you to try that when you're going through some of this stuff. And even if you're not going through that, it's something so drastic, just try that in your day to just get a little bit more oxygenation in the cells. It helps relieve the stress, helps alleviate depression, and move you out of that state. And it's very, very helpful. So definitely try the laughter yoga exercises. Okay, now we're going to, as I promised, we're moving on to the hooping section. So if you have a hula hoop, grab it. I'm using a small one so that I fit in the camera here. But we're going to be doing a two-handed, where's my notes? My two-handed breath isolation. Okay, so what we're doing is, I'm going to move back over here. So we're going to be, this is what it looks like, is we're moving back, 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 back. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my right hand, and I'm kind of a little bit on my left side here. I'm taking my right hand, and this is another version of a ghosting isolation. So so we're going to take, I call this the trophy hand. I call it a trophy hand because it just looks pretty, but it's not doing much. So so I'm going to keep this open just to show you what it's doing. So we're going to be taking that right hand, moving it down away from us and up and through, rolling over the back of the hand, and then re-gripping. So, and then you can take that and just work the one hand, but we're actually going to work the other hand as well. So we're going to be taking the right hand, it's going to come down, up, roll over, and grip. Now the left hand is going to work, come down, up, and then the right hand's going to be that trophy hand. Come up, roll it over the back of the hand, and re-grip. So then the right hand's going to switch and then be the working hand. Left hand is a trophy hand. So what I mean by trophy hand, the ghosting part, is it's just holding the hoop, but basically the hoop is sliding. So for instance, this hand is working. This hand is ghosting. So working, ghosting, working, ghosting. So, but it's going to look like one. So when I slip it over, then that is going to be like that. Anyway, so again, we're going to take that right hand, work it down, up. Then we're going to switch, and I'm also going to move this hoop to the other side. And then I'm going to take that left hand, work it down, roll it over the back of the hand, re-grip with the left hand, and move to the right hand. So right hand works, left hand works. Right hand comes down, up, and out. Left hand comes down, up, and out. Right hand down and up and out. Left hand. So, and ideally, you want to have this as an isolation. You want to have this stationary in space. So you want to try and go here and here, 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 here. So there might be elements of each of these movements that you work on, and one thing comes and one thing goes. So when I teach grouping class, and it's much like the grief and the loss process. You know, some days something is doing good, and then some days something is not doing this so great. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you so much for being here and watching and commenting and really and sharing this video with someone who may need a little bit of brightness, help, understanding, all that kind of good stuff. And this is especially dedicated to my grandparents, Helen and Joe Rippinger, who I did just lose this week, or not this week, I'm sorry. I lost my cat this last week of 19 and a half years. My grandparents, yes, 97 years old, lost them this year and a week apart. And so, and also I wanted to share a quick story because I meant to say this at the beginning. I wasn't there when my grandmother passed, but I was making the travel plans. Thank you so much, Davey. Much love. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But I went out there I was going out there for my grandmother's funeral, and during that process, my grandfather passed. And so my grandfather's funeral was right after that. But I was there when my grandfather passed, and it was, this is the beautiful thing, you know, hard at the time, of course, but it was a neat thing because I was on one side of him. I was on his right side and holding his hand. And I'm the oldest granddaughter, and the youngest granddaughter, Catherine, was on the other side of him. And somebody noticed this, that we had kind of like the circle of life there. And of course we had some of the other very close relatives there, my dad and aunt and the brothers there, my dad's brothers, so that the very immediate family was there. So anyway, I just wanted to share that story because that, you know, sometimes you've got to, you know, hold on to your memories. So even through the loss, you know, it's good to have something good that you can remember out of these moments that aren't so much happy. So anyway, love and light to you this, you know, during the holidays, whenever you're watching this. Thank you so much for watching, and rock on. Peace out. Thank you. All right. Bye, guys. See you on the next episode.